Hey, what's up, family? This is Doug Reed with the Let's Go Show. Once again, I'm honored to actually do these podcasts. And once again, I come across some incredible people. Rashawn Spence is another one of them incredible people up in Jersey City, working for the Jersey City Police Department. And I'll just say, yo, Rashawn, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you? I'm blessed.
Oh, I'm doing well, man. And being an officer, sometimes you got to get straight to the point. So let's get right into it, man. Tell me a little bit about the younger Rashawn.
All right, so I'll start from my childhood. So lived in Jersey City, born and raised all my life. Family man, just always been around my grandparents. During the summertime, I'll get sent down to North Carolina to I guess be down there just to get away from the city. And I think that really taught me a lot of strong values, especially being around my grandparents, both my grandparents, my father's side and my mother's side. Always the type of kid that always wanted to work and do something and do right or help people. So my grandfather, parents, grandparents and my parents always instilled that hard worker mentality in me, saying a man that don't work don't eat. So as a kid, I'm like, well, I am a male. I love to eat, so I better work. So I always been that type and always want to help. Went to Catholic grammar school all my life. I always wanted to play the background, but always seemed to get pushed up in the front. So it was the weirdest thing. Like my pre-K, my pre-K teacher would tell me, actually, I'll start with my name. So my name is spelled Rashaun. Mm-hmm. So my mom taught me you always have to respect your name. And you also have to, spell your name right as well, because that is yours. That's basically the only really thing you own is your name. So I took pride in that. So one day I'm in kindergarten. I'll never forget this. The teacher has us to write our names. So she kept telling me that my name is spelled Rashawn. With respectfully, I'll go, no, it's UN. She goes, you're in kindergarten, you know your alphabet that well. Now she tells me I don't know my alphabet. And I go, no, ma'am. My mom and my daddy told me my name is Rashaun. Kept me after school. Mom comes out like, where's my kid at? Everybody else's kid is out, but mine. I go upstairs. I'm still sitting at that paper. I refuse to write Rashawn. So ever since then, the teacher said, you know what? I apologize. One day, he's going to be a leader because he refused to back down. He did it with respect. He's going to be a leader. So ended up being president of my school, second president of my school. Then went to high school, did the same exact thing.
Let me ask you real quick though. I mean, not even ask you because I want people to really see the value in just that little short time of what you said. Mm-hmm. Because the thing that I got out of it, because you said my grandparents, how they played the role in your life on both sides, your mother's side and your father's side. So then they were role models for you.
Absolutely.
Then you talk about your mom instilling the values in you, instilling confidence in you, and actually instilling, you go back to, you said your grandfather said, a man got to work. She instilled manhood in you because she said, look, I spell your name this way. Don't nobody else tell you different, and stand by what you tell them. And showed you how to respect people. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of times, and I don't even know if you really thought about it, like in that sense, that these are the kind of things that we got to, I had a young boy up in Boston, DJ E Double. He said, "OG, you got to account for the details."
Yeah,
these are the details that I'm talking about. The support system you had, and then what they instilled in you, and they already said, bro, like you're gonna be a leader. And that's not just saying that. That's just what they saw in you, and they were planting that seed in you, and you probably didn't know the full capacity of it. And we'll talk about what you're doing now. But even at this early age, so now you got all this stuff built in you. Now you get into we talking about that happened when you was in kindergarten.
Yeah, kindergarten.
And now you go through high school, you in these leadership positions and people, gaining the confidence. What happens after this?
So even in high school, the same exact thing. I ended up being senior class president. I accomplished a lot of positive things for the school. I always been the type of person to fight for what's right. So even in grammar school, I was a rebel. If I didn't like certain things, I stood up for it. They punished me by taking a lot of my awards away. I was a nerd, and I appreciate being a nerd. You know why? Because it kept me out of trouble, and it made me who I am today. And that, I got called a nerd all in school. I didn't care. It just built me up. I used to always say, well, you know what? I'll be that nerd that you'll be working for. So that's how I looked at it. And I honestly didn't realize how strong of a foundation my parents, my grandparents built in me, and that whole pride in my name when I had my kids, and I have 2 boys, and how they carry the name, and then even my daughter, how they carry the name and how they take pride in their name. Like they really, I will say they represent, and they do the right thing, and they're the same exact way. My wife is amazing. We always try to do like the give back. Like even now, I'll just fast forward to present time. Right now, I'm the vice president of my police union. Even as far as, and also I'm part of a nonprofit called Blessed. That's Blacks in Law Enforcement Service in the Community. Even with Blessed, is a grammar school friend that I went to grammar school with. We're good friends. Lost contact for a little while. Ended up working at the county jail. Bumped into him there. He tells me about an organization he has and how he wants to expand it and build it up and make it a bigger brand. Because it's just only in the Hudson County Jail, just Blessed. He says, I want to expand. He said, I know you're leaving. I know you're going to Jersey City. I need to expand it. I said, brother, I'll help you expand it. But all I want to do is be a background player. I don't want to be the VP. I don't want to be a treasurer. I just want to be a member. He goes, no problem, bet. No. He said, I would disrespect you if I gave you that position because of all your bright ideas, your good ideas that you have, the way you communicate and contact with people. And Anthony Smith, he's the president, and then John Boma is the other vice president. And I love them brothers, man. They really go hard for the community, really go hard we go hard for each other. And it's something that we're out there encouraging.
Yeah.
And that's always been my goal. I don't care if I don't make any money. Actually, we don't get paid. We don't make any money. We spend money, our own money, to give back and do right. I always was taught that as well. Give back, do right, help others, help others, help others, help others. Because when you do that, you help yourself. Yeah. I think that's what keeps me sane.
so I mean, I don't even recall. I didn't even know you worked in the Hudson County Jail.
Yeah, I did that for 1 year. I was there for 1 year, and then I went over to Jersey City.
How did you get into this thing of law enforcement?
I always wanted to be one. I always wanted to be a cop. As a little kid, they used to bring the Hudson County Sheriff's to grammar school. So every year from kindergarten to 8th grade, I had my little deputy sheriff badge. I would wear my sweater like I was a cop. But I wasn't one of those ones that were like, you got to do this, you got to do that. I was always the one that made sure the kids in the school was good, make sure we were okay. If something bad happened to somebody, I made sure they were okay and I wouldn't reported it. So I was like that that community cop.
Yeah.
Even in grammar school. So I wore that badge with pride. I had took pictures with all the head sheriffs. I wish I could find those pictures. Being my mother's like I swore I would be one. But then as time went on, I actually had strayed away from that because I got into banking early in my career after leaving college. And I ended up being the youngest Black or youngest person probably period to run $1 billion system for the Bank of New York.
Oh wow!
I did data entry and check processing. Excellent company, learned a lot, met a lot of great people, a lot of good friends, and of course, when the recession hit and the 9/11 hit, it kind of changed the way banking is done when everything went virtual, as far as like direct deposits and even the stop uses of checks. So that kind of downsized a lot of stuff. So I said, you know what, I got to explore my options. Let me go and go back to trying to be a cop again.
Yeah.
Took the test, had a car accident. Car accident almost killed me. The day before my test, right in front of my house. Leaving out to go hang out, stress, relieve some stress before I go take my test on Saturday. Friday, I hopped in my car. I'm waiting outside. I had left something in the house. I had to run back in, but wait for my boy to come out the driveway because he was living upstairs in my house. And boom, right in front of my house, I get hit. I mean, could have killed me. Wow. So that knocked me out of the test. Took the test again, scored pretty high, which I thought was pretty high. It was a 92.6. Went through everything. I was in a volunteer program for the police department for a good 2 years. Then he realized that my name wasn't on the list. For some weird reason, somewhere down in Trenton, my name got mixed, or the check mark didn't read properly in the computer. They didn't put my name on the list for Jersey City. Finally talked to some people. They put my name on there. Then they canceled the schools, the training because, the recession thing hit or something like that. They stopped hiring, whatever it may be. I said, you know what? I got to do this. This is in my heart. My wife was like, listen here. She said, don't give up. She said, if
Yeah.
you give up, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. She said, you always want to do this since I met you in high school. You went about being a cop. She said, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like
Took the
Nike,
test
right?
again. Yes, my last shot, took the test again. Got hired by corrections first, and then about a year later got hired by Jersey City. So yeah, and even then, class leader in both of those too. So
Yeah. I was still tripping going back to now. I had me reflecting, I got my own story how I got in law enforcement, but I remember back in them grammar school days, what was it? The crossing guard. You know what I mean? You
okay,
had the orange. We had the orange.
the sash,
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
yeah. And then they had the little badge. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
was like, yo, this. I'm the man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then even as I got into corrections. Coming out of the military. Corrections during that time. Jersey was a big thing, and got over there. I actually started Atlanta County Jail,
Mm-hmm.
and then end up going into the feds, man. So
Nice.
now I get it, and then I think what a lot of people don't realize, and the media and everything that's going on now, what it takes to be not only a law enforcement officer,
Mm-hmm.
but an African American or a man or woman of color being a law enforcement officer,
Absolutely.
because we're faced with a lot. Like, people don't really understand the resilience and the perseverance and stuff, and that we have. And you said you're a leader, and there are certain things that you don't put up with. And I
Right.
think a lot of times being in that field, like, one thing and I dealt with racism and things, and of
Mm-hmm.
course, being in that field. But one thing that I didn't take was being disrespected.
Absolutely.
Like, that was out of the question. And I had to be honest and transparent, and I'll just say it like this: when other officers or white officers doing some crazy stuff or known to do crazy stuff, my thing was, look, bruh, you won't do that around me, and you
Right.
won't do it in my area. You know what I mean? And that's
Mm-hmm.
how, for lack of, that's how I gain my respect within that, being within that field, because there's so much that we deal with. And then you
Yeah.
said something too, like being the first. You talk about banking, but even being the first, because I tell people all the time, we are history.
Yes.
We're writing the new books on history.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure there's some firsts and a lot of firsts in Jersey City and what you're doing. Then for you the first is for two young kids, you know, back in grammar school or whenever y'all met, y'all grow older, there's some ideas. And then the fact that he wants to bring you on to share this idea. And then
Mm-hmm.
of course y'all having a vision that y'all have for the community. What drives you to want to serve so much for your community?
I think back to what you were saying. It's the well, for one, bring back a sense of pride, and also two, balance things out, because I had run-ins with the police, with police in Jersey City, believe it or not, and I wasn't out there. I mean, I had the banking job, so I had bought my first house at 19, bought my first car at 21, because I was like, I said I've got to get a house first and a car because it makes sense. House builds value. My house is worth a lot of money now, and I got it back then. And a cop pulled me over. This what actually drove me to actually really make sure I took that test again. Was when I kept getting harassed by these two cops. They kept pulling me over. The first time I got pulled over was for supposedly a seatbelt. So about to get my hair cut. I picked up my barber, drove him to the barber shop to make sure he's on time. But I said, if I don't pick him up, you're not gonna cut my hair on time and be late for work. So I picked the guy up. We go, we park. They come up and roll up on me in two motorcycles. Come over with attitude. They're like, license and registration. I said, all right, officer. I said, what's the problem? Oh, well, you don't have your seatbelt on. I said, well, I had my seatbelt on. Car is parked and is off. So I eject my seatbelt to get the door. I stood in the car because you guys kept on me. Oh, well, you got the tinted windows. I was like, that's factory solar tint. I said, nah, try better than that. I got a little saucy with him. I got a little sarcastic with him, and So long story short, he tries to give me a ticket for the plate not being in the front. I had a brand new car, brand new Mustang. It's like a 2000, whatever it is. They had that weird shaped bumper. You got to get a special bracket to hold the plate. I didn't want to drill no holes in my bumper. Show him the receipt, had the plate in the front windshield. He still gives me the ticket. Oh, how did you get this car? I said, I bought it. Told him just like that. I said, the registration's in my name, insurance is in my name, the car is in my name, everything is in my name. How you get that? I work. Well, how do you pay for it? With money? Like, why are you drilling me? I said, officer, is this going to lead to any extra stuff? Like, what we doing here? He goes, well, here's your ticket, blah, 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 for being smart. And I said, well, actually, so this means like I got to go to court? He said, no, you can pay it if you want. I said, no, I want to go to court. So I'll see you then. Took him to court. We went to court about 3 or 4 times for different things. He would get me every single time. The last time I went there, judge said to him, listen here, this is your last time bringing this young man in here. You do this ever again, we're going to have a problem. I left out every single ticket I had, actually got dismissed too, by the way. So I beat him every time in court. I think he just wanted court time. He said, well, this kid always want to take me to court. I'm going to keep messing with him. I got on the job. I said, you know what? I got to become a cop. I got to make change because I can't allow stuff like that to constantly happen. I said, I know I'm one person, but I got a big mouth. And I can get very aggressive and make things change, make things happen. So that's why I was so happy when I did go to corrections. I ran into Anthony and went to Jersey City, met John Boma. He was like, oh, I was supposed to find you and tell you that Ant want to start this thing up with Bless. I said, great, because I spoke to Ant and I was supposed to look for you too. And now we got this going and we expanded to a big thing. I mean,
let me go back a little bit because I want to, because I want people to understand this, man. Especially when we're dealing with law enforcement, especially being out on the streets. And I say this because of young men, and our young men today, a lot of them, a lot of them ain't taking no stuff now,
Right.
I'll just say it like that. But the thing about it, and this is where things get out of control, and this is, we talk about, talk about community policing, or you can talk about just de-escalating situations. Like and I'll say, even when we tell our kids, if you get pulled over for a cop, like, look, these are some things I want you to do. Put your hands on the wheel, make sure that they're visible, that, you give these instructions, like, this is how you respond when you pulled over, so it won't be any problems.
Yes.
But the thing that happens is you get triggered.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And this is where, we teaching our young men, our young women, how to act when they get pulled over. But then, and not to say all cops are bad or white, but you get pulled over by, let's just say, a bad seed.
Right.
Then you get pulled over a bad seed that just wants to take on this opportunity to say, I'm going to mess with this person.
Yes.
Then it gets escalated. Now, could I actually get to a place where, there's a shooting or whatever. Yeah. And we don't want to take it that far, and this is where, like you said, I wanted to get on the force. I wanted to make a difference. I have in my spirit that I want to help young people. Yes. And now you're riding, I'll go back. Now you're riding with your man, Anthony. Now he's coming up with this organization, and the organization is called Bless. Like all these factors come in together and tell us more about, well, first tell us what Bless stands for, and then tell us more about it.
All right, so Bless is Blacks in Law Enforcement Service and Community. Our main goal and our idea is to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community. That whole, like we said, the whole negative narrative of all cops are bad, Black cops are sellouts, Uncle Toms. We've heard that before. We just want to build our community up. And it's good that I'm glad you kind of recapped on my MV stop, because what I did was actually wrong. I shouldn't have been going back and forth with the cop. I should just let him hand me my tickets and let him be going about his business. When I got home to my mother about it, and my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, about it, they were upset because they said, listen here, you're a young Black man. You got a nice car. You got money. You don't dress, I guess, in suits. You just dress T-shirts, jerseys. You dress to chill. So especially when I'm out of work. When I go to work, I'm in suits. But just be careful. These cops can get jumpy, they get trigger happy. You see what's going on in New York. You see what's going on in LA. This was that time when it was happening a little bit back then. And we just don't want to see you get hurt. Be smart like you've always been. Take these guys to court and win. That was my idea. So we made up a card. and it has what to do when you get pulled over, what to do when you get stopped by a cop, even when you're walking. We've passed it out. We done pass out thousands. We go to high schools, grammar schools, churches, and we do presentations. We actually bought a whole setup of like cars with cut up cardboard cars, a big backdrop of a neighborhood, and we play these scenarios and show them what happens. And it's very frustrating. I've even had pulled over a guy one time. It's funny. My partner and I pulled over a guy. He's flying on Kennedy Boulevard. That's one of our main streets in Jersey City. And he's doing about 60. Not lying to you. He was hauling. I should have gave him a ticket, but this is why I didn't. We pull him over. I see the light clicks on. His windows drop. He put his key on top of the hood of the car. I didn't add that on the card. And he puts his hand on the steering wheel. So I'm like, must be a cop. Mm-hmm. We walk over to him. We talking to him. And just so happened, I look at the speedometer. He has my card our card that we made up, and the speedometer on what to do when you get pulled over. So he does all those little things. And I point to my partner. He has the blessed card. He goes, all right, so you handle this one. Talk to the young man. I said, first off, let's calm down. He's like shaking. He's nervous. I said, we're going to calm down and relax. I said, I'm Officer Spence. This is my partner, blah, blah, blah. You know why we pulled you over? He goes, yes, sir. I said, all right. I said, you were speeding. Yeah, I'm going to be late. My girlfriend is going to have a fit, and my mom is going to have a fit. I'm like 2 hours late. I said, where are you coming from? He said, work, but they held us, and I couldn't get out fast enough, and they're going to have a fit. I said, all right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to write you something up and get you, so they know you got stopped by the cops. All right, cool. I said, where do you get that card from? He says, my grandmother. I said, your grandmother? He goes, yeah. My grandmother said that some cops came to her church, was talking about, how to get pulled over. And she said to make sure that we have grandsons or granddaughters or their sons, to hand it to them. So she gave me one. I said, you know who made that card? He goes, no. I said, that was me. And he kind of relaxed. He you can see the blood just finished flowing through his body. His color came back to him. He's relaxed. Wow. My partner's like cracking up laughing. He was like, yo, my man was over there sweating bullets. And I said, this is what we're going to do for you. I'm going to let you go with a warning. Merry Christmas. It wasn't even Christmas time. I just said, this is your Christmas gift from me. And he goes, that's it? I said, yeah, I'm going to give you the little stopping pass I gave you to say that you were stopped by me. I'll give my badge number and everything. They can call the department and talk to me if they want to. And this will help you out and get you home. I said, just drive safe. He goes, that's it. I said, do you want a ticket? No. I said, then brother, listen here. Cool out, relax. I said, yo, and be safe. And listen to grandma, man. She's a smart woman. And, he chucked it up and laughed and he pulled off. And it made me feel good because I saw that one card. And that one card made me feel like, wow, all right, so they are passing them out. They are handing them out. They are listening. Yeah. And I've ran a couple of those where people have done it that way and said they got it from a blessed program or they got it from a school or a family member or a friend. And it feels good. Some of my even colleagues will call me up like, hell, yo, I just got one of these blessed cards, man. I pulled the guy over and he did exactly what he said on his card. This is making our job easy. This is great. So it makes me feel good.
Yeah. What are some of the other things that the Bless is actually doing?
We also give out a lot of we do a lot of mentoring. So we have our own mentoring program at PS15 and PS34. We mentor the kids after school.
What's PS4? What is that?
It's a grammar school. It's a grammar school. Okay. So PS15 is one of our trouble schools where they like to just I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put people on blast. They don't help this school out enough. They have a great principal there that wants to make change and do things right. They just don't give enough resources. It's in a harder community, believe it or not. I live a few blocks from there. I live in the so-called, they call it the hood. I live there. I bought a house there on purpose because my church is right up the street from my house. Right. And I said, I want to be close to my church. I want to be close to my community. And I also work in the same exact district that I live in. So it's even better. I go up and down the street. Hey, either they have a hey, bless, hey, officer, or they'll come by the name. Yeah. So somebody knows me. So it works out good. One of the things we also do is we give out book bags every year. So we give out book bags filled with school supplies with a barbecue. We give out toys for Christmas. Thanksgiving, we got turkeys along with my union as well. My union teamed up with Bless to help out so that we can get more funding because like I said before, we do some small fundraising, but majority of the money comes out of Anthony, John, myself, and other members, Cynthia Blue, Chauncey, the main members. We usually come out of pocket for a lot of things.
Just real quick, because I don't want to wait to the end. If somebody wanted to donate to Bless, how would they do it?
They can reach out to us on Facebook. Also, we have our own webpage, which is Bless. I believe it's still bless.org. Facebook is b.l.e.s.c. And Instagram is bless_2017. And also we have a podcast. So every other Wednesday, we have a podcast. We talk about social issues, things that's going on in the world today. Usually we try to maintain, really talk about focus on things that's happening in our own city. Like we have recent shootings, gang violence. Now we have, it's been a big string of domestic violence, which has been plaguing us heavily. We lost 2 teachers back to within weeks of each other. Their boyfriends or one was ex-husband, went to the house, shot and killed her. Had another one where the ex-boyfriend came by, took her, kidnapped her, hid her body somewhere. And the only reason why they found her body was due to the fact that some police officers had stopped them and saw a car leaving an area that the car was restricted to be in. Wow. And end up searching that area again and found her body. And just recently, right on Mother's Day, young lady went to her mom's house. I believe that was her ex-boyfriend and father of her daughters. And she went out with him, I guess, the night before, and they were looking for her for Mother's Day, and ended up finding her body on the borderline of Jersey City and Kearney. So this domestic violence thing has been plaguing Jersey City for a very long time. I mean, since I've been a cop, I've had a couple of cases where I would advise the female to leave the guy, get help, seek help, and they end up dying or getting killed or getting beat again. So it's been rough. Like, I try not to take it personal, but you only can do but so much. Or
and it's happening in your own community too. So that
and that's what really hurts the most, because there was one lady I would see every other day, because I would go to the car wash and I got called to her house and the name sounds so familiar. Go to the house, her eyes swollen shut, lip is busted, nose is bleeding. And I said, what happened? Oh, it's my husband, blah, blah, blah. He did this and that to me. And I'm like, wow, where is he? What's wrong? So it ended up being a big thing. The whole wanted posters was out. The bolos was put out about this guy. And I haven't seen her in a couple of years. And asking one of my colleagues, hey, what happened to I forgot the lady's name. And they go, bro, she died. So what do you mean she died? Well, I mean, she got killed. Who killed her? Ex-husband. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, she left him for a little bit, went back with him, ended up killing her. And then he ended up leaving the country. I said, wow. Left 2 kids behind. The son was about 16, maybe 18 by then. Daughter was fairly young. And just to think that both parents now basically consider gone, because he's going to get locked up or somebody's going to kill him wherever he is. And it just shows.
And I know you're doing that amazing work with Bless, and even as a police officer within your community, but you've actually taken on the role in which we don't see a lot, even within your union. How's that working?
Like I said, I got a great team. My president, Joseph Castellini, and the other VP, James Woods. We built this team up, I guess. He built this team up because he wanted something where he can have his person that can reach out to the cops and understand cops. I guess with my age, being a parent, and also too being involved with Blessed, I can kind of reach a certain, I guess, emotions with cops. And also too with Woods, he's a brain, so he can get you to all the resources you need. He can find these places, and he does the contractual stuff. And also with Joe, the same with him. He does the contracting stuff, but he wants me to deal with the cops in the community, because this is what I do. He said, this is what you're good at. He says, do it. So we try to make sure we find all the mental health resources we can for our police officers, because there's been a lot of things that have been happening since I've been on. My first year, I lost my classmate to gun violence. He went to Walgreens to respond for a dispute. Some guy took the security guard's weapon. He went on IG or called somebody and said he's going to be famous because he's going to kill a cop. So his whole plan was to kill a cop that night. So this was back almost 10 years ago. Melvin Santiago, my classmate, really young man. Family was in law enforcement. He always wanted to be a cop himself and help the community as well. They drove it to Walgreens on the boulevard. He didn't even get a chance to even get out the car and defend himself. He didn't get a chance to pull his weapon out. The guy jumped behind the bushes and took out Melvin, and other cops ended up responding within seconds and ended up taking him out. And that was traumatic. Just first couple of months in, we just graduated from academy. We just finished training. We're still being trained somewhat. We're on the road. We get calls. We get hyped up, and then that hits. It was something else. December 10th was another one that struck me pretty hard when during Christmas time, we're getting ourselves together for Blessed. We had 7 events planned out for December for Christmas. I'm on vacation. John Boma, Anthony, myself, we're all in there. We're talking. We had gunfire. We're thinking that is the local drug dealers around our office just hanging out, shooting at each other again, like they do every so often. End up being basically a whole terror attack. It was a terror attack in Jersey City, and we responded, running down the street, got involved in the situation, and come to find out that one of our colleagues was killed a couple of hours prior to that. You know, it took a toll. Fast forward past that, had a couple of cops take their lives. This was most recent when I even spoke to you about that.
Yeah.
And it hurt because it was young men that were hurting and we couldn't recognize it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what really, really hurt. And that's what bothered me the most. And that's why, you know, Joe, Jim, and I, we all pushed to try to have something built better into our department for mental health. Not just saying, hey, buddy, let's go get a beer and then send him on his way home, or let's cover it up. No, let's get some real help. Let's send them away. Let's find the proper resources. Let's have meetings. Let's have talks. We drive around the districts. I haven't done that in a while because it's been so busy, but I used to drive and just stop random areas where cops are at. Hey guys, what's going on? Hey girls, what's going on? Y'all need anything? How's everything going? I want to conversate with you, because then maybe I could pick up something and try to get something done for you.
Yeah. You know what, man? I didn't mean to cut you off, because
no, go ahead.
You're dropping so much, man, that I think is very important. One, we got to identify what police union is that?
This is the POBA, so we have our own. We're such a large department, so we're not. Our bargaining union is the POBA. We're also affiliated with the FOP. So FOP is the one where we get the plates with and other things that we do. The gold cards. We even have our own gold cards as well. But we have our own police union because we're such a large department.
Okay.
And so you have the PBA, FOP, and then we have the POBA. That's us.
Which number is it?
I'm sorry?
I said, what number is it? PBA what? I know it's a local.
Oh, just PBA, because we have our own.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no other. There's no other. Jersey City is their own. Yeah.
That's own.
Yeah. FOP is Lodge 4, I believe, that we're Lodge 4, if I'm not mistaken, because that was like way back when our department was real small. But since we got so large that they took it upon themselves to make their own union.
Just a PBA.
We do our own bargaining. I'm sorry?
No, I was going to say another thing I wanted to point out. And actually, I just did it because, you know, I retired. So I got a couple of guys from my job from the federal prison, retirees. And we went up to the local Wawa. And then we went up to the local Wawa. But what we did was we basically took, like, I guess we spent probably, I don't know, $100 that day. But the only thing we did, we just bought all the people that worked in the prison. We just bought them coffee, sandwiches, you know, and that's all we did, you know. But you'd be so surprised how appreciative people are and how much they needed.
Yes.
You know, even with, I remember when COVID hit real strong and they were talking about COVID being inside the prison. See, I'm like you too. A lot of times I try to stay in the back burner, but it never works out that way.
Right.
But what I did was I coordinated some people to go up, and we were just right outside the prison, you know, because COVID is strong and people, you know, people don't want to, I mean, a whole lot of factors as far as dealing with a correctional institution and COVID hit. But the only thing we did was we just lined our cars, and I probably had about 15 cars, you know, on the entrance of the prison. And the only thing we was just out there just blowing our horns and just say, yo, you know, we support you. We're proud of you. And I got so much of a response for that. So I really respect the fact that, you know, still being within the department, you know, being there as long as you're there and trying to find the resources to help law enforcement officers within your department. Actually, I already know for you across the country, but, you know, a little bit at a time.
Yes.
Because people don't know what we go through as far as law enforcement sometimes. You know, what you deal with out in the community or wherever you go, and then you come home. You know, everybody say, oh, you know, I don't bring that stuff home. Well, yeah, you do. Because sometimes you don't have a choice to bring it home because it's in you, or what you saw that day, or a little kid, or whatever traumatic event that you saw. So for you to actually still, you know, recognize that and actually want to help those officers, I really respect that, man. That's why I told you, even, you know, we talked before this, you know, like I had a resilient officer, you know, that worked for the Attorney General's office that was going to come up and talk to you. We talked about the mental health piece of how it's going to tie in. Boom, he has a massive heart attack and he's gone. and we talk about some things that you've lost. So people don't realize what we go through on a daily, or what you go through on a daily, and still have the willingness, still have to get up enough energy to go out and still make a difference. So I really appreciate everything that you've done in that respect. But if I could ask you though, what would be your perfect painted picture going into the future? What do you see?
Right now, I'm working on my sons. They are actually becoming police officers themselves. So they're going, hopefully, God willing, in the academy in July. My wife joined corrections, so she's now a correction officer. So we got the blue blood. Everybody keep joking around.
Oh my God, bro!
Yo, you're gonna be the chief of police, blue bloods all the way through. I'm the commissioner. I said, whoa. I said, I would love my end game to be that. Actually, honestly, my end game, honestly, when I said to my wife, I said, I gotta keep going forward. I said, as long as I keep pushing myself forward, I said, I'll be good. But what I would really love to be would honestly be either at the end, either be director of the police department or the chief of police. And that would be my end game. My retirement would be, I would love to retire that way, because I could finally put my final seal on my mission. And honestly, my mission is to give back and to help as many people as I can. Even as cops, I got so many cops that are good cops. I mean, great cops. I'm not even going to downplay them. Great cops out here. And all they do is work and just treat people right. I said, that's all you have to do. I said, you'll get much more respect and success doing the right thing for people than you would being mean to people and just roughing people up because you think you can. I can't say you can, because you think you can because you're a cop. Just because you're a cop don't mean you can. Because I had guys I locked up several times, got promoted to detective. They're congratulating me. Who does that? I locked this guy up 7 times and he congratulates me. And then cracks a joke about, so that means that you won't be out here no more getting me, huh? I said, nah, bro, makes it worse. I'm a detective. Now I need more research. Oh, come on, bro.
But you know what? Right. You know what that is, though? It's a thing that, and then I know you can identify. It's respect, man.
That's all it is.
I mean, you talked about it as a young man. Just respect my name.
That's it.
Just respect your community. Respect who we are as a people. Respect, how we're moving forward. It's the respect.
Respect life. That's what I say. Just respect life. That's all it is, and love it. Because these guys are like losing their lives or taking lives for whatever small, minute reason it is. You can get over this. There's been so many things that has happened to me when I was younger, that has happened to me in life, that I just refuse to let it beat me down. There's times where I'll get on one knee and I never admit this until I got older, I'll cry. I was taught never to tell anybody that you cry. I was told never to cry in front of my sons because that makes you weak. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't, because now my sons aren't scared of me anymore. When they saw me cry one time when Melvin got killed, they were younger, and they saw that, they got scared. They said, "We never seen Daddy cry. Is this okay?"
Wow.
And then I started to speak to them and tell them, like, "Listen here, it's all right." I said, "It's all right." I said, that was my buddy. That was my I call my little buddy. And for that to happen, it still devastates and bothers me to this day. I'm close with his family. His mother, love his mother and his brother and his dad, his stepdad to death. Awesome, awesome people. His uncles and aunts, they're awesome, great people. And all they want to do is make sure his name never is forgotten. Yeah. Other guys and girls that have passed away during the time I've been on this job, the same exact thing. I try to make sure that I'm at every single vigil, every single event that I can possibly be there for all my officers that have died since I've been on this job, and even the ones that beforehand, just to show the respect and love to their family. Yeah. And again, like we said, it's respect. Yeah. Just respect life, respect love, just respect.
I mean, you said a lot, man. I mean, so many things you just dropped, and they just come to mind. First I just think about, especially as men, especially Black men, like, it's okay not to be okay sometimes.
Yes.
Like we do have feelings. Yes. We do get to a point where, like you said, drop to a knee and shed those tears, but it's needed, because we can't, the one thing that we do is we want to hold everything. We the tough guy. I mean, let me speak from a law enforcement. I'm law enforcement. I'm the CEO. I'm the police officer. So one thing, I'm that strong dude that, you can't budge me. I'm tough.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm rigid. But no, bro, you're human.
Yes.
And a lot of times we negate that because of everything else that we want to do. We want to, be upright in our community. But we suffer through things too. So I appreciate you even sharing that story and being transparent even about your sons. going back to the role model. You've been that role model. You had that support system when you were younger. The role models, the leadership that God has put into you, and for you to still display that respect, still display or let's hit it that way, the honor that you still displaying, even for your fellow soldiers, your fellow law enforcement officers. That speaks so big, man. So, anything else as a last gem?
And the
If you
last,
don't last, you drop so many, but is there a last one that you want to drop?
Honestly, I really, like I said, I want to really make that big change. My church plays a major role in my life, my wife, my kids, and I just want them to succeed. I always tell my kids too that don't be like me.
Yeah.
Don't be like me. And everybody's like, wow, that's bad to say. You're a pretty good guy. I said, nah, be better. And I said, if you can't, try your best.
Ooh.
And better doesn't have to be you got to make more money than me. You got to have more than me. Be better is what you feel is what you can do your best. And that means being better than what you was yesterday. So go hard, go strong. My son's like, oh, Dad, we can't beat this time. We can't do this one. It don't matter. You don't got to be the class president. You don't have to be faster than me. You don't have to be stronger than me. You just got to be better.
Wow.
That's it.
Bruh, you said it. So I'll say it like this. This has been Doug Reed with the Let's Go Show with my man, the ultimate police officer, Rashawn Spence. And you know what I say? Let's go, baby. Peace. We out.